Talk about AI and inflation. We are in times where we really need to worry as a nation about what AI and inflation does to a lot of the citizens. And this is something that is not only a concern of mine, but also whenever I talk to people who are entrepreneurs, people who are business professionals in financial planning, we all have a little bit of that worry. We still have an opportunity to position ourselves and to prevent the worst from happening. And that can be done by making sure that maybe you are a business owner, you have additional income, and you understand that fundamentally you're going to have to use AI anyway to supplement your productivity, but also understanding that the really powerful part of what you can do for your business is building brand, building a community, because it's just going to be very easy to be outperformed by companies that have larger investment means than you have. So make sure that you position your business for success by first being visible, having a very powerful, strong brand that is human-centered. And then also second, make sure that you implement AI tools so that you can be creative and productive. I also think that everyone should start looking at becoming an investor. We now live in times where you no longer need large sums of money to invest into stocks or crypto or what have you. With apps such as Cash App or other apps, you can literally invest in almost anything that would make sense for you anyway. Let's look a little bit at the numbers just to understand how impactful really inflation is for people. For that, I'll bring up the official government issued inflation charts. So here you can see all items that make up the consumer price index. The red line shows that during the pandemic, inflation was rampant, and you can see that it shot up to almost 10% here in March of 2022. And now it has gone down a little bit. We're around 3%. That's still 1 percentage point higher than what is typically referred to as a healthy inflation, which is 2%. But this chart is a little bit misleading when you look at all the items together, because those who are most impacted are the low income earners, because they have different product categories that impact them, right? So let's look at those briefly. We have food at home, of course, that was very high. Look at this, almost 14% during the pandemic. And then now it has gone back to more normal levels. But you have to understand that right now people are still hurting from that pandemic time because they lost so much money. And this all came during a time where for a lot of people it was hard to find work, which is of course why the government step in with the different measures to supplement income. Then electricity, very impactful for all of us. And that is a big one. That's still very high. If you look 15% during the pandemic, and then we're still at 5%. This is a big problem, okay? And then the next one is shelter. Also, we know that low-income earners typically are renters, and it makes probably the biggest part of their monthly expenses. And that is still very high. As you can see, it went up to 8%, and we're at 6% now. And then we have the medical care services, which was, of course, very high during the pandemic, and now we're at normal levels. Now, again, let's take a look. Let's go briefly back to talking about the two big ones that really are worrisome: electricity everyone needs electricity, and then, of course, shelter. These two combined are really very problematic still for low income earners. And I don't see the situation become any easier with when I put my focus on AI, because I believe, and again, AI is not only automation when it comes to knowledge work, secretaries, admin workers, people like that, who, if they don't learn or have access to AI, are really at risk of becoming obsolete, but also factory workers, restaurant workers. You have no idea what's coming towards us. The robots are just becoming better and better, and I can guarantee you that a lot of that low-skilled, blue-collar / manual labor is going to be replaced. It's going to be replaced because it is just much more efficient and cheaper in the long run to rely on a robot as a company than having to deal with humans and all their problems and flaws, right? All the problems that come with just employing a human who needs time off, who gets sick, needs to look after their family. That's a reality. So again, this video has as its primary aim to get you to understand that if you are part of the middle class right now, which probably most of you are, you don't want to slip off into a problematic situation by not being prepared. You need to position yourselves where you are visible, you have a strong brand, and you build community around your brand, because that is why people will continue working with you. That's the stickiness of your brand. You have to learn how to leverage AI at the very basic level. You have to be familiar with ChatGPT. I know so many of you still don't have access to ChatGPT, or they use the free version, which is really not cutting it. You have to understand that those $20 that you pay for ChatGPT every month is most likely the best investment you can make as a professional. I don't care whether you are self-employed or you work for someone, you need to have that kind of AI as your wing AI. And then again, investing, you just have to start becoming interested in investing. It's just very important that you understand the power of a compound interest, the power of what can happen when you set money aside every month, whatever you can. You may not think about retirement right now, a lot of us don't, but that time is going to come and you need to be prepared. So hopefully this video has provoked some questions for you, and I'll see you again very soon on my platform.